Good morning, Devils fans. That's why everything going on here right now is allergies related and not because of the recent stretch of play, as we did lose, as the broadcast called it, a must-win game, and I only somewhat hinted towards that, 2-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets at home. Now, this one obviously stinks quite a bit because I'd say we mostly outplayed them. You can say that's game score effects where they had the lead, so they hunkered down a bit and let us really take the lead in shots. But I mean, what was it that Bill said? We had like a dozen plus, almost like 20 shots in a row before they had a shot again, basically leading from the second half of the game onwards, halfway through the second, entirely through the third, essentially. But let's talk about the game as a whole. So, I said Johnny Gaudreau probably would have to step up a bit. I also said Laine probably would have to. Laine was basically a ghost. I know he missed basically a full period worth of time due to the high stick. But even in the time he was out on the ice, he was not very noticeable at all. Gaudreau had a couple moments, but otherwise was also very unnoticeable. Unfortunately, one of those moments was a very nice pass where he drew both Dougie and Siegs over towards him. Dougie, we'll talk about a bit more here in a second, but passes it right to Boone Jenner, all alone at the top of the blue paint, and a fairly easy tap in. That is a save that can be made, but can't really rip a goalie when a guy is completely alone at the top of the blue paint and a pass comes across the ice like that. So, Dougie, probably got to put both of those goals on him. That first one, and then the second one at the very end of the first period, where he's pinching for a bit of offense. Guy sneaks in behind him. What was probably a 100-foot pass from D zone, basically to the blue line, and then clear break in. Guy scores his first goal of the season. Again, is that a save you can make? Yes, but I'm always been consistent on this. I really am not going to rip a goalie ever on giving up a goal in a breakaway. You got to make some of those saves, like Schmid did there in the third on a Gaudreau breakaway, really the only other defensive breakdown. We had 3 defensive breakdowns in this entire game. It's not too bad. I would say Columbus had more than that. Most teams have more than that in any given game. It's just you get the saves. 2 of those 3 went in. He made a save on one of them. So that's just how it be. So it's kind of similar with Detroit. We had a minute 30 seconds of just absolute trash play. This one was 3 different instances. One of them got saved, 2 of them didn't. But the 2 that didn't get saved were basically completely on Dougie. So he does need to get called out for that specifically in this case. And that was really essentially the game. I mean, the Palat play for the Holtz goal was fantastic. That's what you love to see out of Palat. I really just created that chance entirely on his own, and Holtz finishes it, which is what he was drafted to do. So you do like to see that. Unfortunately, he did take the high stick, completely killed the momentum, took the 4-minute 4-minute penalty for the penalty kill, and we killed it. But then we started trying to push to get that momentum back in the O-zone, and that's when the clear-cut breakaway for sort of the second goal on Columbus' side happened. And then they just locked it down. Merzlikins played a very good game. We really did take over basically from that point on. I'd say Columbus was kind of in it through a little bit there of the second, but from about halfway through the second and through the whole third period, we were really, really good. Well, not really, really good. We had shots. We were generating chances, but it wasn't dominant, I would say. They were giving us chances, probably more of the low-quality shots, and not giving up anything high danger in the middle. Missing 2 of our biggest middle pieces in Timo and Nico. The guys that really, the highest, they're not the only guys get to the middle of the ice, right? Like a lot of the bottom 6 guys get there, but they do not have the scoring touches of Nico and Timo. So those are 2 very big pieces to be missing when you need to crack the center of the ice, make them force them to also defend other areas of the ice instead. We just didn't have the game breakers that play those areas really with us. The perimeter guys and Jack and Bratt were there, kind of missing the more net front guys and Nico and Timo, so that stinks. But we only score 1. I think it's the first back-to-back game for Jack has played where he has gone pointless now. Not for lack of trying. I mean, the guy was getting pucks on net. He hit 2 posts. We had a Dougie shot hit the post. We had a Luke shot hit the inside of the post, probably just a centimeter to the right, and that goes in. We had Mercer get that net front chance. Similar, he was a bit more off to the side. Jenner was dead center, basically primo position. Mercer was kind of a bit more towards the post. Merzlikins makes the save. And that's basically the story of it. Schmidt, I thought, played pretty good. Yeah, you hope, maybe he makes one of those two that went in. If he makes one of those saves, he did not get tested a lot in this one. The Gaudreau save basically redeems letting in those two. You kind of hope that this team would score more than one goal, and they didn't. But I kind of said it in the preview. That's hockey. That's how it's going to go. You can play arguably one of the worst teams in the league, and you can outshoot them. You can have the better of the chances, but their puck goes in more than ours did. Don't know how much else there is to comment here. I really don't expect a lot of scoring out of our depth. We got a piece from Holtz, which is great. You'd like to see that Jack Bratt to Foley line put one in, but they really did control play when they were on the ice. They generated a lot of chances. They had a good amount of looks. They just didn't go in. And it's just one of those where it's more frustrating given the stretch of play we've gone through where we won, 5 more than we had in this stretch. This is just when you chalk up to hockey and it happens. But it's how it goes. But we're right back at it as we have another game today. Hopefully wash this taste out of our mouth finally. Been saying that now for a few games. But this might be the one to do it. Tage Thompson's out. Tage Thompson is out, and their 5-on-5 play has gotten better. They still have Cousins. They still have Tuck. They still have Skinner. They still have Power. They still have Dahlin. Buffalo is still a very strong team, but they're also going through some rough stretches, rough patches like us. Not quite this stretch that we're having, but they're missing their best player. Got to take advantage of it. Maybe we get a Nico back tonight. He didn't play yesterday, so who knows, but maybe. Timo still seems to be out now for another couple days at least, but who knows? It's one of those can change from morning to evening, but we'll find out probably shortly after this video. We'll hopefully get some news out of a practice or a presser. I don't know if they announced if there was going to be anything happening today or if we got to wait till 5 to talk to Lindy or how it's going to work, but it'd be good news to get some of our boys back. Talked about the last time we played Buffalo. We know what their team is capable of. High-flying transition type offense. You don't want to give them defensive breakdowns. It's going to be one where they will punish you a lot more than a Columbus. We didn't give a lot of breakdowns to Columbus. They just scored on 2 out of the 3. Buffalo will generate a lot more of those type of chances. They will take those looks, and we have to be able to actually put the puck in the net when they give up the chances, because they are going to give up chances. Probably going to see Vitek in net tonight. I thought Schmidt played fine. There wasn't a lot he had to do, but he was not again, 3 breakdowns, and not going to rip a goalie apart on when it's him versus a single guy in front of his net. It's just not fair. So hopefully none of those tonight. I wonder, you don't want guys to change their play, right? Dougie's an offensive-minded guy. We've seen what he does on some of those pinches and keeping plays in the offensive zone and really sometimes bringing us back into games. I mean, even by the end, he almost redeemed it a bit. Hits a post, almost gets a deflection, but it doesn't go in. And that's how the game will go sometimes. And we'll see. This is really where we want another bounce back, but we'll see what happens. I'm trying to think if there's anything else super important. I mean, we played them not too long ago. We know what the setup on our team is. Assuming we're going to go 12-6 again, I thought the Smith at forward experiment worked out pretty all right. I thought our defense outside of Dougie played quite well. Luke, I thought, had, again, some great moments out of Luke offensively and defensively. This kid is going to be an absolute force as he continues to develop in this league. Yeah, stinks. Losing streaks stink, especially when a team this talented is going through it. But the talent is there to come back out of it. Is still sir said it from games 1 and 2 of this season. I am not really too hard on a team until really the 20-game mark. We're getting real close to that 20-game mark, though, but we're not there even yet. So, I'm going to call it here on this video. What else is there to say? We've been talking about it. It feels like every game now is the same stuff. So, Jack said it in the post-game scrum. Execution, and it's just the will. You just got to do it. Is what it is. You can talk as much as you want to talk, but you just got to actually do it on the ice. So, hopefully we see a force of a game from Jack on this one. I'm sure he is very frustrated, and he's going to put a lot of onus on himself for not producing. I guarantee it. He's going to feel bad on that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning as always, and forever. Let's go Devils, baby.